Imagine trying to organize a school with 1,000 students, but no head teacher, no prefects, and no rules. It would be total chaos. To keep any large group of people safe and productive, you need a system. Long before European colonizers arrived, East Africans were already successfully governing themselves, architectures of power. They were very different ways of solving the same problem of how to live together. The first system was the centralized state. These were powerful kingdoms, like Buganda or Bunyoro Kitara, where power was concentrated at the very top under a single supreme ruler. The second system was the non-centralized state. Societies like the Acholi or the Maasai operated without a single king, preferring to make decisions together through councils of elders. This map shows the geographical spread of these ideas. Centralized kingdoms, marked with crown icons, flourished in areas like central and western Uganda. Meanwhile, non-centralized societies, marked with shields, covered vast areas of northern Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Neither system was a mistake or an accident. Both were deliberate strategies, perfectly adapted to help people survive and thrive in their specific environments. To visualize a centralized state, think of a wheel. All political and economic power originates from a single center hub, the king. His authority flowed outward through a strict chain of command to provincial chiefs, with every official ultimately answering to the center. These kingdoms usually grew in places with heavy rainfall and fertile soil. This allowed the population to settle in one place and grow massive amounts of crops like bananas or millet, creating the food security needed to support a large, permanent government. This iron-working technology gave these states a massive advantage. They used iron to forge superior farming hoes that increased food production and lethal spears that gave them military dominance over their neighbors. Because the king collected taxes and had a steady food supply, he could maintain a standing army, a permanent group of professional soldiers who were always ready to defend the borders or expand the kingdom. The centralized wheel gave up individual equality for the sake of massive defensive strength, rapid decision-making, and the ability to organize thousands of people under one banner. Now, look at the non-centralized states. Instead of a wheel, imagine a web. Here, power is spread out. There is no single ruler sitting at the center of the community. Decisions were made through consensus. Instead of following a king's command, community elders debated an issue until everyone agreed on a path forward. These communities often lived in harsher, drier environments. In these landscapes, mobile cattle herding was more reliable than stationary farming. A flexible, spread-out power structure allowed them to move their herds and families whenever the environment changed. Without a king, duties were assigned by age in the age-set system. The youth, like the warrior seen here, were responsible for defense. Young boys herded the cattle, and once they grew older, they became the judges and decision-makers for the group. Comparing the two, the differences are clear. The wheel's leadership is a king, the web's is a council. The wheel has a standing army. The web calls up youth when needed. The wheel relies on top-down orders. The web functions through agreement. While the non-centralized web couldn't react as quickly as a kingdom, it guaranteed its members a high level of equality and shared communal responsibility. Both systems were highly sophisticated ways of organizing human life. So, what caused these powerful traditional states to eventually lose their independence? Historians use the acronym SIN to explain the collapse: succession disputes, internal rebellions, natural disasters, and European invasion. Internally, the states began to fracture. When a king died, his sons often fought civil wars over the throne. At the same time, tribes that had been conquered by the kingdoms began to rebel, hoping to win back their freedom. Nature played a role too. Prolonged droughts and cattle epidemics swept across East Africa, destroying the agricultural wealth these governments depended on. Finally, European imperialists arrived. They used divide-and-rule tactics, exploiting the internal wars and the weakened economies to turn neighbors against one another. The arrival of superior weaponry, like this musket, abruptly ended the independence of the traditional African states. The iron spears of the kingdoms were no match for the industrial firearms of the colonizers. Colonization changed the political map, but it didn't change the fact that for centuries, East Africans were master organizers. Whether they chose the authority of a king or the consensus of a council, They proved they could build complex, successful societies, perfectly adapted to their environment.